The Green Hornet. He hunts the biggest of all game, public enemies who try to destroy our America.
Hi there, I'm Susanna Long, and today I'll be talking about the 1930s to 1950s radio serial, The Green Hornet. I personally really love old media, and to me it's really fascinating to see how a show can sort of be changed and affected by the influences around it, especially at the time of World War II and communism. I will mainly be analysing the show's representations of certain groups and its narrative structure, and how this has been influenced by historical factors at the time.
The Green Hornet follows this guy, Britt Reed, as he wages a one-man war on crime. Owner of the largest and most influential newspaper in the city, Reed sees only one logical solution to solve the city's continuing battle against extortionists. Drive around at night in a nice green suit, beating up criminals and threatening them out of their money as the fake crime boss, the Green Hornet. But Britt's not alone in his war on corruption. With Kato, his faithful Japanese servant, valet, and Mike Axford, his bodyguard and a staff reporter, a man so dim he can't recognize his boss in a different colored suit for some reason, and Lenore Case, his secretary, and more or less the only female character. Also, a sweet ride named the Black Beauty.
As I mentioned previously, the interesting thing about these serials is that the characters and content change based on historical events and cultural factors happening at the time. The series' villains in particular changed to reflect the public sentiment, specifically singling out groups that are labelled public enemies, and we can see how they perpetuate these preconceptions in an almost propaganda-like fashion. For example, the serials initially target just regular crooks and corrupt politicians. When America joins World War II in 1941, these villains become German-sized, double-crossing Americans and any foreign enemy. In the years following the war, the serials also took aim at communists, again exacerbating public fears.
And so it's my theory that it wasn't any gangsters who were after him, it was a bunch of Reds.
As to be expected, a dominant reading would see America as an all-powerful, infallible force, characteristics that are expressed through the main character, a white American male that saves the lives of countless innocents. The series are also littered with lines that invoke patriotism in its audience, with the opening phrase saying,
"He hunts the biggest of all game, public enemies that even the G-men cannot reach."
This original opening phrase was even changed by the head of the FBI to obliterate even any semblance that America might be somewhat fallible.
He hunts the biggest of all game, public enemies who try to destroy our America.
Well, during this period, the entertainment industry revelled in racial stereotypes. For the time, the Green Hornet's portrayal of an Asian character was actually fairly progressive. Kato is presented as capable, talented, and aligned on the side of good, which is a stark contrast with the stereotypical yellow peril depiction of Asians in Hollywood, which occurred throughout the early to late 20th century. This role usually saw them cast in antagonist roles, playing stereotypical villains.
The secret formula has been written on tiny slips of paper and placed inside fortune cookies.
To have an Asian male serving as a series deuteragonist in 1930s America was truly unusual. This, however, does not completely exonerate the series of all racism, which is to be expected during this time period. The character also became the victim of some kind of racial ping-pong, going from Japanese to ambiguously Asian to Korean to Filipino. In later iterations of the series, the character's nationality switches to Chinese permanently, and he is depicted as a skilled martial artist, arguably more so than Reed himself. However, in all versions, he is still relegated to the role of a domestic servant and a chauffeur. However, I'd like to shine a light on a different target of racism in society, one that I feel deep sympathy for. I'm not really sure what the Irish did to deserve, well, this.
Au revoir. Goodbye. Oh, glory be to St. Patrick. I was that close to being killed.
It can't really be chalked up to any contextual influence, but for some reason the only other character of non-American origin, reporter Michael Axford, is, But it is interesting how Irish stereotypes aren't taken to be so offensive, while Asian stereotypes are always considered, especially in the modern age. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this brief analysis and you find these influences on this show as interesting as I do. I think they'll still be relevant in the future and they definitely endure in media today. Thank you.